In this week's web video fishing forecast for New England, we got the announcement of the second installment in the Fisherman magazine's Master Angler Seminar series, this time talking about circle hooks and striped bass. Also got some tips on tying rigs for striped bass with those circle hooks. Word on that Block Island cod bite. Slowly improving fishing action out on the ice with success on a variety of species. Some really big brown trout on the fly and much more. Check it out.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. Of course, once again, before I get into the video, got to remind you to like this video. Drop some comments down below if anything that I talk about piques your interest, or if you've got word of a good bite or something that you want me to check into for you. Be sure to subscribe to the Fisherman magazine YouTube channel and tap the bell to get immediate notification when we post content. All right, got a couple of things to get out of the way to begin with on the circle hook front before I jump into those reports. So starting off, as I noted earlier, we've got the official announcement right here. You are hearing it first. The next installment of the Fisherman magazine's Master Angler Seminar series. It's going to take place next week, next Thursday, January 28th. It's going to be a little earlier than the last one. This one kicks off at 6 p.m. As you had better already be aware of, effective back on January 1, when fishing for Atlantic striped bass with natural live dead bait, whether on its own or attached to an artificial lure, here on the coast, actually, or inland as well, you gotta use inline, non-offset circle hooks going forward. While a lot of us knew about this, a lot of you didn't, and it has caused a whole slew of questions to come up, primarily how in the heck did we get here, and what do I have to do now going forward to stay in compliance? Well, as always, that's where we come into play for you. Jim Hutchinson Jr., he's our New Jersey, Delaware Bay managing editor. He's going to be running this one. Jim's been fishing circle hooks for quite some time, really well versed on the subject, so he's an authority on the subject for you. He's going to be talking about all sorts of aspects of these circle hooks, how we got here, management, types of circle hooks, styles, tips, tricks, hacks, how to make a bait holder out of a regular circle hook, and so on. Basically, all the stuff you want to know. If you already fish circle hooks, if you never fished circle hooks, what have you, you got to do it. This is the seminar to watch. Jim is going to cover it all for you. Of course, if you got any questions you want answered in advance, feel free to drop those questions down below. I'll answer them here. I'll pass them along to Jim, because if you got the question, I'm sure someone else does as well. And also, as this is going to be a live seminar, you can ask questions just like that awesome snap jigging seminar I did a couple of weeks ago. As to location, let's see, it's going to be free, open to the public. Everybody can watch it. It's going to be hosted at thefisherman.com. If you check the upper right-hand corner of your screen right now, you're going to see a link which will go back to thefisherman.com. Bookmark that page. That's where the seminar will be live. And then after the fact, we're going to post it, of course, here on YouTube if you're unable to tune in at that time. So be sure to check it out. Again, that is next Thursday, January 28th, 6 p.m. Of course, I'm going to remind you next week, because when next week's video comes out, that's the day of the seminar. Stay tuned to it. It is not a seminar to be missed. All right. Continuing a little more circle hook info, and just get ready, you're going to hear it from us. You're going to hear it in the videos, you're going to hear it online, you're going to hear it in print. We at the Fisherman magazine have been leading the way, passing the information along from management to you, the anglers and the public, for years now. We are the authority on the subject, and we're going to continue to be so going forward, so be sure you follow along. Since we've got the circle hook regs, you're going to probably be tying up some rigs, leaders, etc. this winter. Probably the first thing you're wondering is, how do I attach my circle hook to my leader? Well, in reality, any old knot is going to work. If you got a fishing knot that works for you, it'll work for circle hooks. However, when I first started fishing circles a few years ago, I really dove into the subject, researched the history, researched the different kinds, researched the physics behind it. Talk to people that use circle hooks, talk to commercial anglers, longliners, everything else, where this came from. And I found out a lot of stuff, which is what I've been passing along to you over the last couple of seasons. First and foremost, There's multiple types of circle hooks. The eyelet can be angled, it can be straight. I prefer the straight. You get a better hookup, you get better, you stay hooked to the fish far longer, far better in the fight, and so on. But there's better ways to attach your line. Snelling, first and foremost, in this scenario, is the best way to do it. And I found further what's known as the power snell, as I outline in a video that I just posted here on YouTube. And you can hit it up in that upper right-hand corner. Link shows you the entire process. This knot is nearly 100% strength of your leader when tied correctly. Provides the best all-around delivery of a circle hook, both for delivering the bait, for getting the hook set, and keeping the fish attached during the battle. It's all I use when I'm fishing with circle hooks now. So give it a look. If you got any questions on it, feel free to ask away. Again, link upper right-hand corner of your screen. It will jump right over to that video. All right, well, now we're gonna get into the reports, finally. We're gonna start off out in the salt with cod fishing out around Block Island, and it's kind of what it was last week. It's not great, it's not bad. When the boats can sail for a couple of days, they can find some fish, get onto a bite, put a decent catch together, but then unfortunately Mother Nature comes along and kind of puts a damper on that. And that's what it's been the last few years. That is cod fishing for us here in New England, which means any trip could be awesome, any trip could be a dud, but the captains are obviously gonna put the effort in to get you on those fish. We had some decent weather going into the weekend. The guys over at the Francis Fleet got out for a couple of trips. Obviously did pretty well on the cod, as expected. They noted they had a lot of sea bass. Unfortunately, sea bass season closed as of the 1st, so those were all catch and release. They also got some mega cunner or choggies, which in my opinion is excellent table fare. If you like blackfish, I guarantee you're gonna like them. They also got into some mackerel, which helps, as I've been saying, going forward with bait on the grounds to bring some cod in. So of course, all the party boats, we got the Francis Fleet, 7Bs, Blackhawk, they're gonna sail every day that they can when the weather allows for it. So hit them up. All of those trips are sailing by reservation only. Check out the fisherman.com under the report section. You can find those boats, go directly to their pages to book a trip. And of course, if you get out, let me know how you did. I'd love to feature here in an upcoming video, weekly fishing report. And mention Blackhawk. The guys over there are always staples of the winter fishing, hunting, and outdoor show season. And unfortunately, as you already know, all the shows are off the table here in New England this year, thanks to our wonderful friend, COVID. But nonetheless, Greg and the whole crew decided, you know what, we love doing the seminars. Everybody loves coming out and seeing us, so we're going to continue that through the winter. So what they're doing is doing live Facebook videos. If you know the Blackhawk, you know they love those videos too. They're always doing live videos from the live Facebook feeds when they're out fishing. So that's what they did. They started last week. Greg and CJ broadcast Thursday live from J&B Tackle, our good buddies over there in Niantic, and they talked about tackle for party boat fishing. Different types of fishing, what you want to get for the gear, pointed you in the right direction, the pros, the cons of each thing. So it's an awesome video. I highly urge you to check it out. It's on their Facebook page right now. And the next one is this Thursday night, January 21st at 7 p.m. Now, I didn't catch what the subject was going to be this week, but I know they've been asking for input. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear them talk about? And they're going to be doing those seminars going forward. So check it out. Head on over there this Thursday at 7 p.m. and see what Greg, CJ, and the whole awesome crew over at the Blackhawk have to say for you. All right, moving into freshwater fishing. Granted, it's a little cold out here. We had a little bit of a snow flurry squall pop up just before I started shooting the video, but it's been inconsistently cold, at least along the shoreline here where I live. You got to travel north and you got to travel west to find ice, and that is just what my buddy Dave Bocaz did this weekend, heading out from Springfield towards the Berkshires. Let's see how he did.
Thank you, Toby. Coming at you from Cheshire Reservoir, where I got a spinner right now. Oh my goodness, look at that. Holy mackerel, where did I go? Well, maybe I got something good. Jeez. All right, well, hey, let's see what's going on here. See if I can get some footage of it. I don't know. It's been all pickerel all day. Little babies. Whatever this is, it's flying. But that's a big perch. Let's see. Well, it's there. Whatever it is, it's coming. Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah. Well, you can't win them all. I don't know if you saw that. I saw it. Another little pickerel. Another little pickerel. Ain't the end of the world. Sunday. It's 30 degrees the whole ride up. Got here at 7. Had to travel an hour and a half to get here. There's no safe ice down where I'm at around the Springfield area. So I took the trip up, and boy was it worth it. I got about 20 of those slarm darts today. I've been chasing flags all day. You know, not really my cup of tea. Tiny little pickerel. But I got a small pile of perch going. Really good perch. 12 to 14 inch range. Seems to be no shortage of them either. Also got a good, I'd say around 16 inch largemouth. Really nice largemouth. I also jigged one up right about 12 inches. That was a lot of fun too. You can see out here it's snowing. Plenty of people. Look at that, everybody having fun. It's a good time out here. Everybody else making the trip too. No safe ice south of here. Up in northwest Mass. Like I said, plenty of flags. Everybody chasing flags today. So I don't know, pretty good place if you want to take the kids up here, get them interested in the sport. This will be the place to go. Back to you, Toby.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Looks like you had a good trip out there on the ice. I gotta say that motorcycle or whatever it was zipping up and down the ice would have driven me insane for the whole day. You're a better man than I, but hey, maybe you pummeled them with snowballs before or after the video was shot. And again, good job on the fishing. Look forward to some more videos from you this winter. Another guy who took a ride west was our buddy Danny Jones, manager at the Goose Hummock Shop out in Orleans. Great shop, one of my must stops when I hit the Cape to fish. But you know, Danny last week had that big 9-pound brown. Well, this week he hasn't been finding any ice on the Cape, so he took a drive west. Went out to Beckett, Mass to find some solid fishable ice. And you know, he did it as expected. Trip was well worth the drive. He had a bunch of panfish, perch, some smaller largemouth, and the big bass of the day was a solid 3-pound 9-ouncer that he iced on a tip-up. Now, if you're interested in getting into ice fishing, one of the big questions you might have is, how do I rig and set my tip-up? Well, Danny shot a video while he was out on the ice the other day. You can link to it right now in that link, upper right-hand corner of your screen. He talks a little bit about his trip, specifically gets into how he sets up his tip-ups and the ice for fishing. And it's going to work for all different types of species. A very basic setup, but it's very good to see someone do it firsthand. So again, upper right-hand corner, click the link, hop on over to the video. And of course, if you're in the neighborhood out on the Cape, be sure to stop in and see what's going on locally. And if you do want to get on some ice fishing, if you've got some ice around, you want to take a little bit of travel, one of the first things I always question is where to set up my tip-ups when I first set out onto the ice. So I put an article together titled Down in a Hole, posted right now at thefisherman.com. Pretty simple approach to it, a couple of different ways to find the right spots to drill those holes, to set your tip-ups. Hopefully it's going to help you out. So again, check out the link, upper right-hand corner at thefisherman.com right now. And as I noted, I haven't been able to get out on the ice, but no fear, as I've been telling you, trout fishing, especially here in Connecticut, has been awesome this winter. I've been hitting some of the tiny streams for natives, hitting larger rivers like the Salmon River or the Farmington River for trout as well. And last week I met up with my friend and a really well-known and an excellent fly angler, Steve Colton. Now he's going to be working, or he is doing, excuse me, an article for us coming up very shortly for the Fisherman magazine on late winter trout tactics. So we figured, you know what, let's get together, see what we can do, see if we get a couple extra photos to round out the article. So Steve and I went up to the Farmington late last week to swing streamers. Now, if you know anything about streamer fishing in the winter, it is all about quality over quantity. Now, on the day, I landed one fish. I had a couple of other bumps, but it was a solid fish, a little bit over 20 inches. Now, of course, as always seems to be my luck, Steve was a bit away from me. Didn't want to keep the fish out of the water too long to get a really good shot, so all I got is a very basic, simple shot of it in my net. But then when Steve hooked up later on with a quality fish of his own, luckily I was a little bit closer. Fish was just under the 20-inch mark. Again, caught on a streamer. Really nice fish. We had a couple. Both of us had a few extra hits. Steve also added another low-teen fish. Again, we didn't run it up as far as numbers, but we did well on the size, which is really ultimately our goal, what we were after for the day. That's streamer fishing for you in the winter. And if you want to find some more out about this before, for instance, Steve's article comes out in a couple of weeks, check out his website. It's called currentseams.com. There's a ton of great info on there, how to, fly patterns, general articles, stories, and of course, fishing reports. When he gets out, he tells you what he's doing, generally where he's going, and the tactics that he uses. It's been a huge asset for me this year and my evolving and growing fly fishing journey, so I highly recommend checking it out. And then last up, keeping with those Farmington River trout, it's not just fly fishing gear that's getting on the bite right now. Evan over at Black Hall Outfitters in this week's report noted that BHO team member Matt Stone did really well on a recent farmy trip, and he was fishing egg sacs and he was throwing artificials like just your standard spoons. Got a good pick of fish, had steady action throughout. I saw other guys using the same methods while I was on the river. One thing I got to remind you, though, if you're going to fish the farming, of course, you got to have your freshwater Connecticut fishing license. You also got to have your trout and salmon stamp added in. And what gets a little bit confusing for new and seasoned anglers up there alike is there's different regulations throughout the river. Some areas are catch and release only. Some are year-round catch and release. Some are single hook. Some you got to have your trout stamp. There's certain areas you don't need to. It gets a bit confusing. So went over the Connecticut DEP website, took all the details from the Angler's Guide and posted them at thefisherman.com. So click the link upper right-hand corner, shoot right on over there, and you can hopefully clarify some of the confusion or questions that you might have as to fishing the Farmington River for trout this winter and throughout the season. All right, well, there you have it. Got a lot going on this week. Of course, once again, circle hooks are first and foremost. So remember, we've got that big seminar next week. I will, of course, remind you of it again before we get there. And as always, if you do plan to head out and fish this weekend, be sure to start off your trip by visiting thefisherman.com.
Steigercraft boats, built by people who fish our waters. Serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.